Hello, hello. Welcome or welcome back. I am so happy you're here and I hope you're doing well today. My name is Allie and I am a knitter based in New York and I'm having a fantastic day. It is August 29th. It's a Friday. It's a long weekend and fall is almost here. It is in the air. I can feel it and I'm just feeling so good. I've got a homemade pumpkin spice latte with some pumpkin pie syrup. And I'm talking about game day knits today, which, for those of you who don't know, the NFL season starts on September 4th. I am not really a football fan. I know next to nothing about the sport, but I love football vibes, like the football mood. I'm going to have a sip and then put this down. There's like no reason I need to hold this. Okay, I'm back. What was I saying? Oh, I love like football vibes, like the general just football mood. I like a tailgate or going to a game, although I don't really do that often. I love like going to a bar to watch a game. I like having friends over to watch football on like a Sunday evening, or going to a Super Bowl party is always fun. And even if I'm not going anywhere or doing anything, I love just knitting on the couch on a Sunday evening with football on in the background. That is just, that with a bowl of chili is like a perfect fall evening, Sunday, Monday, or Thursday night. I am a happy girl. So even though I don't really care so much for the sport, I do love the football mood when football is in the air. And I love a theme, and I think football is actually a really fun theme to knit for. I thought it could be interesting to go through a handful of my, I guess I'll call them ideas, game day knitting ideas, mainly items that I would knit if I was a fan of a particular football team and I wanted to wear something to show my support of them, but I didn't want to wear like their logo, or I wanted something a little more toned down and wearable for every day than like the typical merch you can buy at the stadium or online. You're not really going to see too many like team logos, or I guess, yeah, like team logos in this video. That's not really what this is. It's more so like vintagey, retro-y, inspired football game day knitting ideas. And I think all of these ideas could be applied to like any sports team or like type of sport, but it's almost fall and football's almost here, so focusing on like football today. I do have a bundle on Ravelry with all of my patterns that I'll show or mention today. I'll pull that up to show you. So any like pattern I mention or show today is in this bundle called Football Knits. It is linked below in the description box. So if you are interested in any of the patterns I show or mention, you will find them all there. So I think that's everything. And I'm just going to start with my first category, which is sweaters. Now, when I think of game day knits or a game day sweater, my mind goes to more vintage styles. So I'm thinking like vintage cheerleader, maybe 50s, 60s, 70s, like Ivy League, Letterman jackets, things that feel a little more retro and not as loud, I guess, as a lot of the things we see today. And I'm also not thinking like jersey. I don't really think I'm a jersey girl, but I do have some ideas for how to make some of these sweaters a little more jersey-like. But I am going to be talking about, I think, like 3 or 4 different ideas I have for sweaters. So I'll start with my first one, which is letters. And like I just said, I love like vintage cheerleader outfits. So all of these I am obsessed with. I like the like turtleneck or crew neck or v-neck sweater, any sweater style. Oh, and before I get too far into this, I did want to mention, I think any of these ideas can be applied to any sweater pattern. So if you have a particular pattern that you're interested in, I think these all can be applied to it, whether it's like a turtleneck, a cardigan, a crew neck sweater. I think just choosing a stockinette sweater might be best, which I think you'll see why throughout. But anyways, like I mentioned earlier, I love like a vintage cheerleader sweater. I love like a crew neck, a V-neck, or a turtleneck. I like how they're fitted at the waist. Like I like just the general shape of the sweaters, but I also love how they just have a giant letter just like plastered on the front. I feel like it's just so fun. I think it's really cute, and such like a fun sweater idea for fall. And kind of along those lines are those vintage Ivy League, like Yale, Harvard, Princeton sweaters where it just has like an H or a Y. I specifically like when the letter is like color work, like knit into the sweater, like these Yale sweaters here. I think these are all pretty similar to the cheerleader sweaters in vibe. So what I would do if I were to make a letter sweater is I think I would choose a sweater pattern that I liked and just do one giant letter on the front, or do like a little letter like on the chest right here. I think here are some more examples, like this one with the G. I really like this look, the little polo shirt with just the letter there. So if I were doing this, the team I watch the most because of my husband is the Jets, the New York Jets. So I would probably do a sweater, like a cream sweater with a big green Jets J on the front, maybe in the center, kind of like this one or this one here. Or I do like a smaller J, like in the corner, depending on, I guess, like the kind of sweater that I knit. I also think something fun you could do with letters, if you want something a little more jersey-like, is you could do like the full team name on the front, or you could do like a player's last name on the back and their number, or you could do just their number on the front. I think there's like a lot of fun ways you could play with this. And I also think like sweaters like this don't really scream like NFL team necessarily. Like I think you could wear a sweater with like a big J on it, or if like your favorite player is number 18, like with an 18 on the front, and you could walk around and no one would be like, oh, that's a Jets sweater, she's a Jets fan. I think they would just think like, oh, that's a sweater, if they thought anything at all. Like it's not so obvious, it's a bit more subtle. So yeah, I think this is a really fun idea. So I did find a few patterns, alphabet patterns on Ravelry. These are 3 of them that I found. There weren't a ton on Ravelry, but these are linked again in that bundle. But then what I did find, which I think is a gold mine, is this book, The Knitted Alphabet by Kate Haxel, I think is how you say her last name. And this is an incredible book. You can buy it on Amazon if you want a physical copy. But the Internet Archive, which is one of my favorite places on the internet, it's just like a backup of all of these books and magazines and documents. I don't know if you ever go on there. You can get it for free on here. You can see it's 260 pages. These are some of the alphabets or fonts. I don't have full access because I need to borrow it. I didn't want to borrow it and show you like a book that I needed to borrow. But if you just have an account, I've got an account. It's a free account. You can sign in and borrow this book. And I think there's unlimited borrows. And it's yours for free for as long as you are borrowing it and using it, which is amazing. And there are, again, a ton of fonts in this book. These are a few examples, but this one specifically I really like for this sweater idea because these are kind of those like blocky varsity letters. So I think it works with that kind of like sporty athletic look that I'm going for. I will have the link to this book on the Internet Archive down below in case you are interested. And I'm just going to, it's unrelated to this, but if you don't know the Internet Archive and don't have an account, I would highly, highly, highly recommend you make a free account. And there are a ton of fabulous nitty and other crafty and just a bunch of things in general on there, free for us to use. So yeah, this is below. That's my plug for the Internet Archive. Now I lost my train of thought. So I love these like knit varsity letters. However, if you're not like too into the idea of knitting varsity letter or like doing color work, maybe you've never done color work before and it's a little intimidating, I think a great idea is to just buy varsity letter patches like these. I think these are fantastic and so fun and exactly like what the cheerleaders have on their sweaters. So you could buy, again, like a giant one to go across your chest, a smaller one to put wherever you'd like. You could buy a bunch of smaller ones and spell out the team name. You could do the number, like a player's name and number on the back of the sweater. I think there are a multitude of ideas and things you could do with letters or varsity letters and your knitwear. And speaking of patches, I had another idea, which was to buy a bunch of patches, like smaller patches, for your team. So again, like I live in New York, I guess I support the Jets, or I'm a fan of the Jets. So if I wanted to make a super patchy Jets sweater, I would get a little football patch. I would get like a Jets patch, maybe a New York patch, I don't know, and like stick them all over the sweater, sew them down to the sweater somehow. This is kind of the vibe. I love it. I think this is so unique. I've never seen anything like this before. I think I saw this sweater on W Concept. I really don't remember. I've had this picture saved for a little while, but if I can find where it's from, this will also be linked below. Yeah, I think this is such an interesting and unique look. I've never seen anything like this, and I think it just looks like someone stuck a bunch of stickers all over you, which I think is kind of cute. It reminds me of like little kids who like are obsessed with stickers and they just stick them wherever. And I love the idea of being able to make my own and customize it to my liking with my own patches, and like choosing the placement seems like such like a lovely way to spend an afternoon or a football game. So I'm interested in patches. I am really intrigued and curious about this. I think in general, I'm just interested in adding on to knit items with non-knit things. So yeah, that's my little patch spiel. I love it, and I think they're really cool. I think that's it for letters when it comes to sweaters. Letters and sweaters, also in patches. So my next kind of thought when it comes to sweaters, and I think a lot of people's thoughts when it comes to just like game day or team spirit clothing items or knitwear in general, is stripes. And there are a lot of striped patterns that I love. I also think stripes, obviously, you can take any knitting pattern you like and you can apply stripes in any manner, any order, any size that interests you. They could be all varied sizes. They could be all even, like wide stripes, thin stripes, a combination. Like, obviously, creative freedom is yours. No one is going to tell you what to do. So I really like stripes. One idea I have for stripes that feels very football to me are these like dad shirts. These are like these late 90s, early 2000s shirts that were at like JCPenney and Sears, and they just feel very, all the neighborhood dads just got together and they are playing football with the neighborhood kids before they all go their separate ways to watch the football game at home. Like, that is just how it is in my mind. Like, they just raked the leaves. It's Sunday afternoon. You know, there's sandwiches. Like, I've never lived this. This is not like a lived experience I've ever had, but there's something about it that speaks to me, and that these shirts in particular, like, this is, if they were to talk to me, like, that's what they would say. I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but so all that's to say, I think you can do a lot with stripes, and I really like this kind of like late 90s, early 2000s nostalgic sweater shirt idea. So I did find a few patterns that kind of have a similar look. And, okay, chaos up here. This is the first one. It is the Man's Rugby Stripe Pullover. I think this is pretty similar to those shirts, right? Like, would you say those are similar? I would say those are similar. Okay, so this pattern is no longer, I think, available to purchase or buy. I couldn't find it anywhere online. If you do, please let me know in the comments below. But I think this is just an example of something that is pretty easy to recreate. A similar look to those dad shirts I just showed you. But I think that this like thin stripe shirt look, or this like thin, just like singular or small stripes going across the chest look, is great for teams who maybe don't have the most attractive colors, like this green in the Seahawks uniform. Another striped sweater I like is this, again, rugby sweater. I think I'm obsessed with rugby striped sweaters, I guess. I don't know. This one, like a little warmer, a little cozier, but like a similar idea in that it's two colors. It's basically two stripes, maybe four stripes if you want to say the top and the bottom are also stripes. Again, like very easy, simple, minimalist-ish, and nostalgic, like not too in your face, which I really like. And then we have this little hoodie, which I like, again, like 3 stripes. It's not, I guess it's not a hoodie. It's a little drawstring funnel neck sweater. But I like this one a lot. You could wear it to like a football game. I think it'll keep you a little cozy. But I, again, like this one for the same reason as the other two. I like just like the simple stripes. It's clean, it's easy, it's not super fussy. I think it's very wearable for every day and wouldn't scream football team unless you were at like a football game. Like you were at the game of the team whose colors you made in the stripes, right? Am I making sense? I hope I am. Like if I was wearing this to a Jets game in Jets colors, it would be like, oh, she's rooting for the Jets. But if I was wearing this just like to the grocery store on a random Tuesday, people wouldn't be like, oh, that's a Jets sweater, right? I think that's like the idea I'm trying to get across with all of these is like basically things that you could knit in team colors and wear every day without it being so obvious that it's for a specific football team. But if you wore it to like a game or to like watch a game, it's obvious what team you're rooting for, right? Like in the middle there. So anyways, again, everything I've said about the other two applies to this one. Now, if you want a little bit more stripes, I really like these 3 polos. This feels very dad to me again. This could be really fun if you have a team that has 3 main colors instead of 2. Again, this one if you have 2 colors, but I also like how they've done, some people have done a few different colors. Like this could be cute, kind of similar to this first one, where if you have like a color, maybe a team has a color you don't love, you could kind of hide it, do like a thinner stripe with that one. So I love this one, Ralph Zippy Jumper. But you could also do just 2 colors with like the larger stripe and the thinner stripe. Again, another great option, and it looks very cozy for a football game. And then this last one feels also, I think, like the most 90s to me. It feels kind of like Saved by the Bell-esque for some reason, just giving me like really nostalgic feelings. And I think this could be really fun for a team with fun colors, or if you are maybe not like a super fan, but I don't know, you're a bit more of a playful fan, I guess. I think this pattern could be a really nice one. And again, like you can do any amount of stripes, any size stripes. Even in this pattern, you can see just like 3 stripes here, and this one is multiple stripes of different sizes. So just examples to show what I'm thinking about when I'm thinking of striped sweaters. My third sweater idea, which I am obsessed with, is this little football player color work pattern, I guess. There's 2 of them here. This is very like go team, go football, and not necessarily like go Jets, go specific team. It's a bit more broad, all-encompassing of all football teams ever and everywhere. And I like it more if you are like just someone who, like me, likes the vibe, likes the energy, doesn't really cheer for or care for any particular team, but you still want to make or wear something that could be on theme. I also like if you do like cheer for a specific team, you could knit the player's uniform in the team colors, and you could wear it also to like that team's stuff. So I like this. I think it's super unique. Again, I see patterns like this, these like knitted graphic patterns on Ravelry and Etsy all the time, but I never really see sweaters like this in real life. So I feel like it would be really fun to see something like this out and about. I feel like I would get so excited, and I think people would know. Maybe people wouldn't know it's hand knit, but if I saw someone in a sweater like this, I would go and ask them if they knit it, or I'd want to go and ask them if they knit it. I don't know if I would be brave enough, but yeah, I really like this. I think it's super unique and something I've never seen, and super applicable for any and all football or football related things that you may go to. Not that we have many of those, but if you do, if you go to a lot of different football games or go or support a lot of different teams, this could be a good option for you. You just have one sweater you wear to every game, and it's just, you're always on theme. So that's the little football player. So as I mentioned earlier, I think in the very beginning of talking about sweaters, I said I am really inspired by like Letterman jackets. So my third idea is, a Letterman jacket. And I think this one kind of encompasses all of the other 3 things that I've talked about. Well, I guess maybe not. I guess not the football player, but you can include the letters, patches, and stripes in a Letterman jacket. And a fun fact is that Letterman jackets were originally introduced by Harvard, I think in the 1860s, and they were originally knit. They were sweaters. They weren't these kind of like wool or nylon jackets that we know them to be today. So I think that is a pretty cool fun fact, and I would love to knit a Letterman jacket. And I found a few inspo pics here. So this is, or these are the 2, the left and the right are 2 Letterman cardigans or knit jackets that you could buy online. Again, I think they're from W Concept. I'm not 100% sure, so if I remember where they are from, I will link them below. But I think those are great inspiration, and I think it's kind of cool to see that there are like knit Letterman jackets out there. So this isn't like, I guess, like a unique idea to me, but there's some like inspo out there in case you do want to knit one. And again, you can add like a letter or numbers to the jacket. I like the idea of knitting a jacket, a Letterman jacket, and having some patches on it like these. So you could have like the team initial, team letter there. You could have some other patches along the sleeves. And then you could do like on the back of it, like a team number or the full team name, not a team number, a player number, or the full team name. I think that could all be, I don't know, just really, really fun. And then here are 2 Letterman jackets I found on Ravelry, also in that bundle if you are interested. Okay, sorry, I had to get up and I don't remember what I was saying, but and I also think like you would stay nice and cozy and warm in one of these, especially if they're knit in like a heavier weight wool. You would definitely stay cozy and toasty, and no one else would be wearing what you're wearing. I think a Letterman jacket could be really creative. I think, like, as I said, you can get super creative with the Letterman jacket. You can do patches, stripes, like knit letters, knit numbers. I think there's just a lot you can do with it to really make it unique and your own. You could do embroidery or a cross stitch on it. Like if you wanted to do like one of these like elastic waistbandy collary things. I don't know what these are called, but like these striped, they're like elastic usually. Like you could even do that. Like I think there's just a lot of creativity here, room for creativity here that I personally really like. I really like the idea of being able to customize your knits. So that is my Letterman jacket idea. And I think that's everything I have for sweaters. So we'll move on to my next little category, which is scarves. And with scarves, there is one scarf or scarf and hat set I think of in particular when I am thinking about football or sporting event knitwear, I guess. And that is Ali MacGraw in the movie Love Story. She wore this big red and white striped scarf and cute little ribbed red hat with a pom-pom to, I believe it was a Harvard hockey game. And this image, since I've seen this movie, has always stuck out with me. It feels so incredibly timeless. I think this picture could have been taken, or this whatever outfit could have been worn to a football game last winter, and it could have been worn to a football game 40 years ago. I think it is just the perfect hat and scarf look. So I do love a wide striped scarf for team colors. Like you can just use team colors to make a wide striped scarf. And I do have a few striped scarf patterns. Oopsie. Okay. So this one is pretty similar to the one Ali MacGraw is wearing in this picture. Hers is not ribbed. This one is. But this is a, I think like British football, like soccer scarf. I know they're like big into scarves with their soccer football teams. But this is one similar to Ali MacGraw's. Another, but again, it's like, I feel like these are like pretty easy to DIY. And then here, this one I really liked. I like the ombre look of it. I think it's the yarn he used. But that just looks like such a cozy, squishy scarf. Like, oh, I would love to wear that on a cold day. No projects, but it's free on somewhere, wherever this is from, this website. But yeah, I love the idea of a striped scarf. I love also the idea of a striped scarf with either like pom-poms or tassels or fringe at the ends, just to give it a little something special. These like striped scarves just feel very classic and timeless, which I really like. But if you are someone who is a bit more, wants a scarf that's a bit more refined or polished, I think there are a few mini scarf patterns I found. And the first one has this lovely border detail to it. It looks like it's got 2 colors in the border. So again, I think great for a team who has 3 colors, or maybe has a color that like isn't your favorite. You could do as the thinner stripe. The second is pretty similar. It's just 2 colors, it's 2-tone, but I really love the little baubles on this one. And again, you could do like your least favorite color as the outer color. So if I were to do this one, I would probably do a cream center and then the Jets like Kelly green color as the border color. But I think this is just like such a cool little scarf, and I'd feel very put together with this one on, with any of these mini scarves on. Another one, a little striped scarf. If you like a mini stripe, I think this is a great little scarf option for you. And I like this kind of switched 2-tone one. I think it ties up like really beautifully when worn. And then I've also got this one, which is, it looks like are there 2 patterns in this one? I cannot figure it out for the life of me. So this one is 2 scarf patterns. Again, they're called the Bonnie and the Clyde. I don't know which is Bonnie and which is Clyde. But again, stripes. I think this one, this kind of like scallopy stripe, is super fun and super unique. And again, like slightly more subtle or chic ways to incorporate team colors into your wardrobe or game day attire. And here I think is a great example if you have multiple colors, if your team has multiple colors. So I think all of those are great like mini scarf options. And if you are somewhere in between, you want kind of the slightly more refined look that these mini scarves have, but you want a bit more bulk. This scarf, the Sally Wrap by Anna Lubner, is such a beautiful option. She's got, again, like these small like X's almost going across the scarf as stripes. And again, I like this if you've got a color that you're not particularly fond of in the team colors, and this just looks really cozy. Another great option for like a cooler fall or early winter football game. So I think that's everything for scarves, and I'm going to move on to hats, which is my last category. And again, when it comes to hats, I am thinking stripes. I have a ton of hat patterns. Not all are striped, but a lot of them that I want to talk about are striped. So the first few really remind me of that, I'm going to pull it up again, that like dad look, these sweaters. I have some hats that I think these men would wear and would love. They are the exact same energy as these rugby stripe shirt sweater things are. And this is the first one. I think, like, is that not a perfect match? Like, would these men not wear these hats, this hat? Like, they would. So whoever's wearing that shirt will be wearing this hat. Again, it has like the same vibes to me, like backyard football game, dad shoveling snow or raking leaves. Very, very fun. I don't know. I love it for anyone. But that's just what it reminds me of, is like, I don't know, maybe my dad wore a lot of shirts like that when I was a kid, and that's why I have this strong association with this style of stripe and dads in the late 90s and early 2000s. I don't know, I should call him and ask. But I think this hat kind of goes with that vibe. This hat, like the same, like similar, very same look. And then this hat and scarf pattern, this feels like, I'm from Philadelphia originally, like this feels like something someone would have worn to an Eagles game in, I don't know, 2002. Like this whole set, these fingerless gloves, this scarf, and this hat, like I would have seen at an Eagles game had I gone to an Eagles game when I was 7 years old. So I think these three are all really fun choices. If you're looking for something a little more modern, there are a few striped hats that I think have a bit more of a modern feel to them. I really like this one. It is a pretty heavy stripe. It's like nice and wide, but not too wide. And I really like that they go from horizontal to vertical. I think that is a really like playful take on stripes. Again, I think in team colors, this would be really, really cute. Even with like a big pom-pom on top, whether that's one like you make your own or you buy like a faux fur pom-pom. I really, really like this hat in any football team. Honestly, like any colors. But I think like a lot of football team colors that I know of, this hat would be really cute in. And similarly, another kind of funky or fun striped hat is this one. It kind of has this diagonal, spirally stripe look to it. It's something a little different, but not like crazy different. And again, cute with a pom-pom, cute in team colors. I think this would actually be really cute with that one really small striped scarf. That would be like a really sweet set to wear to a game. And then this one, I think this is Rose Knitwear. And again, it just like a slightly more different, unique hat. Really fun. This feels very like cheerful to me. It just looks like cozy and squishy and lovely and like something I would want on my head at a really cold football game. I also think this is like a little different from a lot of like the stripy patterns we see. There's a bit more like visual interest and depth to it, and probably a little more fun to knit. Especially because hats can get like pretty repetitive and boring. For me, at least, I find hats to be slogs sometimes. So I like that this one, I think like it looks like you're like mixing it up a lot as you're just knitting in the round. So I really, really like this pattern. And then this one is, I think, like my top pattern from this entire video. I am obsessed with this. Whoever is wearing this set is the life of the party. They are the one planning the tailgate. They are the one bringing the fun, making sure everyone is having a good time. They're the one starting the wave in the crowd. Like, this person is a party person, whoever is wearing this, and I am obsessed with it. I think the little ear flaps are too cute. Same with the little braids, and I love how the stripes like switch or flip color halfway through. Just incredibly fun. And yeah, I know whoever is wearing this is the most fun person you know. And this beanie, I think, is kind of similar in vibe to the football player sweater idea that I mentioned. This is, again, very much just like go football rather than like go specific team, unless you were to like do team colors or write a team name on it. But I like this. It's just like random colors and says touchdown. Like, that's kitschy, but like not in an annoying kitschy way. It's like a cute kitsch. I think that's really kind of like funny and fun, and I feel like you don't see people wearing things with footballs on them to football games. You really only see like team colors or team logos. You're not really like seeing footballs at football games. So I think this would be like kind of a fun, a silly thing to wear to a cooler football game. And I've got a lot of hats. I really did not think I would have this many hats to talk about, but for some reason I'm obsessed with hats, or headwear, I guess. This is, I think, second to last hat I want to talk about. And this is Katie Carlson. She makes these touchdown beanies. She has them for every team. They're by conference. And I think these look like beanies that you would buy at a football game for a specific team. So if you do want something with your team name on it, I think these touchdown beanies by Katie Carlson are a great way to go. And my next hat pattern is this Best Friend hat by Purl Soho. Purl Soho in general has a ton of fantastic hat patterns, but I really like this one because it looks like static, or like white noise, like static TV. And I think if you have white in your team colors or cream, this could be a nice way to wear both colors without having like giant blocks of white. Because I know I'm always afraid of like fully like an all white sweater or like a white hat getting dirty, especially if you wear makeup. Like, I feel like wearing a white hat isn't the best choice because like it could rub on your forehead and like makeup transfer, and then is it stained forever and you spent all this time knitting this white hat? Like, who knows? So I like this pattern for that reason. If you have a team who's got white as one of their colors, this hopefully eliminates that fear or some of that problem. And I don't know, it's fun to look at. It kind of like tickles my eyes a little bit. So I think ear warmers are very easy projects. I think someone can be like, oh, do you want to go to the football game with me on Sunday? And they could ask you that on a Tuesday, and you could buy the yarn, knit the headband, and block it all before the game, like very, very quickly. So I think headbands, these like ribbed ear warmer headband things, are great for that. So I think this one is a little more modern and playful, kind of like the diagonal hat, or again, that like really thin striped mini scarf. And then if you want something a little more sporty or athletic, this one is very athletic. It's a free download, which is great. Like, this one is obviously Green Bay Packers, right? Like, there are just some teams whose colors you see together and you know, or like this one is this. I feel like this is a football team too. But I think, yeah, this is a little bit more of a sporty or athletic look if that is what you are going for. And if you really don't like stripes or you don't want anything that looks athletic, I think this pattern is super cute. This reminded me of the Eagles, like Eagles colors. But I feel like you could wear this like skiing, like après ski or at a ski mountain, cross country skiing, and it wouldn't look out of place. I think a lot of team colors could work for this. Like, this one reminds me of like is it the Miami Dolphins, who have like this bright blue color. Like you could do that. I don't know of any teams with these colors, but yeah, like even like the Vikings. Aren't the Vikings purple? But that is everything for hats and accessories. I just have two last little patterns that I thought were fun that I wanted to share. And the first one are these socks. I just think they are adorable. And if you are someone who likes to gift knit socks, this would be a great gift. It's a chart. It's a free chart online, so you could apply it to, I think, any, where is it? Here it is. You could apply it to like any pair of socks that you'd like to. I also think like you could change the color of the flag to make it match the team's color. You could change the letter so it's the initial or first letter of the team that you want it to be. I don't know. I just think they're adorable. And if you love football or you're making socks for someone who loves football, I think they would be thrilled with these. And then the last little idea quickly before I go, I saw this little stuffed football plushie, and I have a bunch of ideas in my head for it. I think the mini size, you could put like a rattle or crinkle paper in and could gift it to a baby, and they could have their own little football for football season. Like that would be so sweet. What is this? Continuity camera. And that would be so sweet. My idea for the medium size is to give it to a puppy or a little dog, and it could be a toy for them. Then they could have their own little football for football season. Like, would that not be adorable? A little dog running around with a football toy in his mouth. So cute. And then my idea for the large size, I don't know how big it is in inches. Oh, pretty big, 21 inches. So maybe you do like the small for, or the mini for the dog and the baby, and then the medium for this next idea, which is to give it to a toddler or a little kid who, I feel like all toddlers and kids like love balls. They love throwing balls. So I think this would be a great idea for them because they could throw it around inside the house and it wouldn't break anything. So it's like a win-win for everyone. The kid gets to have fun and parents are not upset with broken vases or TVs or whatnot. So yeah, I think that's everything. I hope this wasn't too long, and I hope you found some fun knitting inspiration, football team spirit knitting inspo in this video. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks. Bye.